welcome back. This should be our last segment on this painting. I know it's kind of tough waiting for a week, then you have to wait another week to do another part, another week. That's why we really try to keep these at 3 to kind of get them done so you don't have to wait so long. We've got some more highlighting to do to settle down some rocks. We've got a lot of bushes to put in here and here. Then we've got a lot of trees to leave. So let's go ahead and get started here. With your medium flat bristle brush, we're going to go in and we're going to grab some green and some yellow and kind of make that medium green color that we've been using over on this side. And with a I guess it's called a flicking motion. You just put it there and you just flick it up, just flip your bristles up. You kind of get that little sense of some grasses there, just like that. And you want to put these down at the base of the rocks. This kind of helps settle the rocks down so they don't appear to be floating. It's just a quick little flip. And you can also kind of put that in where you need it to be to kind of connect with everything else that's going in there. You know, bring it down around over here. Kind of bring it up around your trees too, and that kind of helps settle those down. Back in here it gets just a little dark, so you don't have to put in so much. There, something like that. There. Let's go ahead and do this little peninsula that comes out. Let's do the same thing. Let's just do some flip things like that. Kind of looks like some weeds. Just kind of here and there. Skip around. Let some of the dark show through. These will just be some clumps of some weeds and things that are in there. I'm really pushing against the canvas and really just flipping up on it. Like that. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and clean the brush out. And we got rocks on the opposite side of the bank that we have to do, and those are going to be in shadow. So these are going to be with some white and some burnt sienna and some blue. Again, blue is that natural shadow color. Blue is in every shadow that there is. Kind of make like a little battleship gray thing. And you just go through and highlight it towards the water because that's really where the light's going to be. This is so dark, it's going to get some reflected light this way, but it needs just to be kind of very subtle. Remember to vary your sizes and shapes. But look how quick we just went through and just made a whole bank full of rocks right here. So make this into one. And here's one here. And one there. Here's a big tall one. And just that quick, we got rocks all the way around. Go ahead and clean the brush out. We're going to be done with him for a little bit. And we'll get out our large flat bristle brush. Now what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to put in some of the bushes in here. And we're going to use the same color that we did with the other side, except we're going to add blue. So this is going to be some green, some yellow, and blue, just to tint down the blue to it. Kind of acts as a shadow. Push your bristles down so they open up and grab a whole lot of paint. And again, this is going to just be exact same brush stroke as here. Because the hill is coming down this way, the clumps will be on this side. Okay? So just kind of come through. Add a little bit more blue to this. That's better. This is kind of nice too because you can settle the trees down here too. Just here and there. Doesn't need to be a whole lot. There's a good opportunity to kind of get some out, kind of goes over your waterfall a little bit. Kind of helps push that waterfall back. You can kind of go down between some of your rocks. Kind of settle those down too. Again, if you think of clumps, just a little bit, skip a space, a little bit, skip a space. And you can see that in mine is that you can see those brush strokes, and it almost looks like there's little twigs that are connected to some of these things that we're putting in. And again, I didn't plan that. That's just how it worked out. But that's the added benefit of doing it very, very loose, just kind of letting the brush strokes happen as they do. And once in a while you get lucky and kind of take advantage of it. But it happens really more often than it doesn't. Now, these are obviously going to be difficult to see because these are back in the shadow, but they really have a purpose and they need to be here. You can throw some up again, just kind of make it hang out over the water a little bit. But make sure you get down by the rocks, down by the water. Kind of makes it look a little bit more natural. Just like that. Alrighty, with that same color and the same brush, get some more green and some blue. We're going to use the same brush stroke. Now what we're going to do is put some, why don't you add a little bit of burnt sienna to it too, darken it up a little bit. We're going to put in some of the leaves. Again, this is the same thing. Get your brush, you push it down, spread it out so you get a lot of paint in those bristles. Now what you're going to do, this side is going to be dark. This side we're going to do those also, but these are going to be a little bit lighter because the sun is kind of coming down that way. So what's important is, first thing is when you got a bad tree like mine, make sure you cover up the bad spots. But you don't want to cover up everything here. You want to be able to see through, to see some of the background and the skies and some of the things that are going on. Artists like to call those sky holes or bird holes, where you can kind of see through. If you were just to clog the whole thing up, you just lose all sense of depth. So it's very important to kind of loosen that up a little bit. And all you do is you go straight into the canvas and just tap. And it's a very, very light tap, and you can get those beautiful little leafy effects. And you're really not even doing anything. But what you want to guard against is that brush will tend to make the same pattern over and over. So you might want to go over it in some spots just so it doesn't get repetitious. See how that one is just a little different? I'll bring that one down. But bounce around, skip some spots. And you find these things all the time out in the woods and things. And just reload, pushing your bristles down. When you do this, you'll end up getting a different pattern off of your brush, which is good because then it doesn't get monotonous. You can see how you can still see through there. You can see some dark here, some of the lighter. You can still see some sky. It's what helps give you that depth. Some places you can do it real light, so it looks like maybe those leaves are on the other side of the tree. You can do some bold ones. Get some more paint, some green, some blue, some burnt sienna. Mush those bristles down. Here and there, but don't go too crazy because you want to have that sense of some distance in there. Because you will start liking the effect of it, and you just start banging the brush in there, and pretty soon you got everything covered up, and you kind of lost it then. With that same mixture, you want to add some yellow to it, so it lightens it up, kind of makes a medium green color. Same thing, bristles pushed all the way down. You can see that this is a lot lighter than the color we had over here. And we'll even kind of brighten these up after we get these all in. Now here's this ugly tree I was telling you about of mine. You can probably hear me how hard I'm banging in some spots. It's hitting the back of my canvas. It's kind of annoying, isn't it? And reload when you need to. There's that bad spot. Gotta get him. See, I just make just outstanding leaves. You couldn't do that if you had just a very small brush and was here for a week doing that. You probably still couldn't get that kind of an effect. But it's all in the stroke, how hard you push. Yeah, that looks pretty good. See, I cover up all the ugly of my tree. Almost. Oh, there's a spot. There. Now it was a beautiful tree. All right. We got everything pretty much settled in where we need it to go. Why don't we go ahead and clean this large brush out. Now this is going to take a little bit to clean this because this has got a lot of paint in there. And it's all the way up into the bristles on the inside. So you want to really make sure you're bouncing up and down. When you get on the bottom, you're kind of scrubbing like that to just get those bristles to open up a lot. All right, now we need to go to our medium flat bristle brush. Now what we're going to do is going to put on some highlights here and really kind of make this really sparkle. This is where the sun's coming from behind these trees and it's catching this, and we're going to brighten up some of those after that dries and sets a little bit. We're going to kind of go through and kind of sparkle this up a little bit. And we'll go through, highlight some of the rocks. So what this is going to take, make sure it's wet first, get some white and some yellow. And it's the same thing as what we've been doing here with the bushes. You get it, push the bristles down so they all open up and get a lot of paint on the inside. Now we go back, and now is where you have to go through and find out which parts you want it to be lit up. Because it doesn't necessarily mean this whole thing is bathed in light, because light could be coming through some of the trees and you're catching some shadows, some lights. And I kind of think that's a little interesting. So I'm just going to do mine hit and miss. One and a little bit here. And look at just by that little spot right there how much brighter that is. It just really looks like the sun's just zinging off of it. Found another one here I need to do because it's kind of tall. And a light stroke will give you some really fine spots. Maybe just a little bit more coming back. But again, don't cover up all of your darks. See how it looks like the sun just really just blitzing right on that spot? All right, let's clean out the brush. And we'll switch to the smaller brush. And we're going to go through and we're going to pick out certain rocks that are kind of getting some light. And again, that's going to be some white and a little bit of brown. If you want to put just a touch of yellow into it, you certainly can do that. Sometimes that makes a nice little sun color. Now go through and kind of determine which are the rocks that are kind of getting hit. So I'm going to say that this one certainly is. I'm going to change this up a little bit. Didn't like the yellow after all. Go back to the white and brown. And of course I grabbed too much white. That's better. That rock, that one, that part of that rock is, that one, that one, probably should get this little guy here. See how much brighter that makes it? It just kind of really just jumps right out. right, let's clean that out. And we're going to go through and hit some of the water a little bit. Brighten that up. Again with some white. And just a touch of blue. Boy, my touches are pretty big today. There we go. I think the light's going to really get bright on the top of this waterfall as it starts to come down. And don't go to the bottom, but just kind of as it starts to roll over. Like that. That kind of helps give you a little sense of the direction that the water is moving to. And maybe we'll sort of brighten this up back here a little bit. And let's make those the crash at the bottom of the waterfall just a little bit more pronounced. And again, that's a stroke where you go and you push in and you bend the bristles up like this. You kind of you go right into it like that. That's how you get that nice little crashing movement. Right at the bottom. And then you grab the bottom and just soften it in so it's not so pronounced. But hopefully you can see that real well. You can kind of see where it's the splash. And that's just where the paint and the bristles, where the painted part of the bristles and the not painted part of the bristles meet, which causes that just to come up like that. Just a really cool stroke. There we go. Very good, very good. Then another thing that we could do is maybe some of those trees over on the left-hand side are catching just a little bit of light. So we're gonna hit just a couple spots on their trunks. Again, using the same white with a little bit of brown. This kind of will help set the direction for the light that's coming into. Kind of here and there. Probably would catch some there, maybe a little bit down here. Maybe this guy's catching a little. All right, clean that brush. And then with the same brush, we're going to go through and we need to highlight some of those lights on the left-hand side, just on some of the edges. So it's going to be white with some yellow. Pushing the bristles down to open them up, just like we've been doing. And just gently on the right-hand side of these is where you want to hit. You just kind of get it and take it back a little bit. It's just these that are kind of hanging out. And if you do the top of them, it kind of helps with the direction of where the light's coming from. And just in a little bit. Your brush is probably running out of paint anyways. So it's a good thing to do it because it's not so strong of a brush stroke then, but it does give a little hint of some brightness. But it really helps add to the fact that it's bright, and as it goes in the tree, it starts to fade a bit. Just like that. See how bright that is? Again, we focused on the center of interest, which is near the center of the painting. This whole section just got bathed with light because he just made it stand right out. And it's so important in a painting to do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. Kind of give you a chance to do a lot of bushes. It's a different kind of a stroke. Did some waterfalls, a little bit larger. Some nice crashing at the bottom. Worked a lot on leaves. Did some items that were underwater. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. It kind of gives you a sense of trying some new techniques, some different things that we haven't really done yet before. And I just appreciate you guys so much watching and tuning in and sending in some messages and with your questions and your comments. So we really, really appreciate it. It helps us to understand what your interests are, where some areas of concern are that you need more work on that maybe we can do a little bit more demonstrating. And I really hope we get a chance to paint together. We do a lot of classes and workshops and around, and it's very easy to get involved in those. If you go to my website, it's full of information. You can go to my gallery. You can see some of the paintings that are on there. It'll come up in small pictures. You click on it, it comes up to full screen. So again, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate your loyalty, and we really hope you're getting a lot out of this. And I really hope that you're getting your brushes kind of wet with some paint. So until next week, when we start a brand new painting, have a great day. Take care.